Hey guys, welcome back. In today's topic, we will understand how to use starts with and contains method in XPath. So, when to use starts with? Start with identifies an element with the help of its starting value. And you can see that this is the format of its XPath. XPath would be starting with the double slash tag name and then square bracket, and we have to write this method name starts with and then round bracket. After that we will use at and attribute and comma. So here is the difference. If you see the basic XPath, we are using at attribute equals to value, but now we are not using as a whole value. We would be either using some partial value. That's how we have given as comma. With all these functions, whatever XPath supporting, we will use after attribute, we will use comma and then the starting value. So sometimes it is not possible to identify an element with the help of its complete value. Some part of values keep changing every time you log in into the application or every time you hit the URL. In such case, we cannot make use of full value of the attribute, and then we have to use the dynamic XPath. And then it starts with is one of such function you can use in such scenario. Let me show you it on a web page. I have opened a Salesforce login page. I will inspect couple of elements here and we will try to find out with the help of starts with and then later contains. So let me inspect this username here. So first we will type value in username password, then we will click on login. Let me find out element login, attributes of login. So if you see that in login we have a class, and if you guys remember, we discussed that we cannot use class attribute as it is if it is having a space in its value. That's why when we were using XPath as class name, we could not use it because all these classes were having a space. But we can still use class with the help of XPath. Here we can use starts with. So let's how to do it. Control F slash double slash and then tag name which is input, then square bracket and then function name. What is our function name? Starts with and then round bracket. And here at attribute is class, comma, and the starting value of your class. It is button. Let me try to use. We have to use value in single quote. Button. Yeah, it's returning one of one. So it's finding that element. So we will use that. Driver dot find element. Then we will use by dot xpath, and then we have to give the xpath expression between double inverted commas. And then what we have to do with this element? We are going to click. It's a button. We are going to click. Before that, we will enter some value in username and password as well. Driver dot find element. I'll see what are the attributes we have for username and password. We have ID as username, so we will make use of ID. We will use by dot ID and we'll give our ID name in double quotes dot send keys. And the same thing we have to do with the password. Let me check what are the properties for password we have. We have ID and then the value for ID is password. let me type password here. Let's try to execute this program. You can see that it entered a username password and then it click on login button. That's why we are seeing this error, because the login details were not correct. Right. Now let's discuss the another function, which is contains. So contain function has a feature, it has an ability to find an element with the partial text. And what is the format for the contain? We have double slash and tag name, and then contains. This is a method name, so we have to mention our method name in the starting. Contains, and then we have square bracket at attribute comma value, whatever value you are looking in that. Let's understand how to use it in practical with the help of same application. Okay. For example, we have username and password also, right? And therefore, username and password also we have this class attribute. Let me try to use with the start with, and then I will type the attribute value was the starting point is input. If you can see that for the username, this class attribute values input R4 wide MB16 M8 username, and for the password is MB16 M8 password. So as soon as I try to use starts with for this class attribute, it is showing me one of three elements. There are three elements. So in that case, I cannot use start with if I want to use uh, if I want to use a class attribute. So what we can do, that we can use contains, and then we have to find out a value which we can use from that partial value we have to find out. So if I use username, first let me type contains here, contains, and then I am trying to find out username element. So I will use username, and then you can see that it is written in one of one. This username is a partial text. It can be in the starting, it can be at the end, or it can be in the middle of your value. So contain method will search your partial value within that value of the attribute. So that's how it works. So it's returning me one element now. So let's use this in our code. So rather than we use id, let's try to use contains method here. Driver dot find elements, we will use xpath by dot xpath, and then xpath expression, then send values, send keys, right? Let's try to execute this program. Right, it got executed. So I hope it is clear how to use contains and starts with, and where to use these methods. There are a lot of other methods available for XPath, which we will discuss in another videos. So I hope you guys like this video. We will meet in next session and we'll discuss more XPath. Thank you.